This isn't just a fight over a house. It's a battle of law, relationships, and truth. Can you really claim a home if your name isn't on the deed? Judge Judy is about to decide.
Miss Meadows, who is this young man?
It's my son, Gavin.
How old is he?
17.
This might not get pretty, so you want to have Gavin step outside for a while? Miss Meadows, you and Mr. Gustafson lived together as a couple for a long time. At some point, according to your complaint and Mr. Gustafson's answer, you decided to buy a home. According to you together, according to Mr. Gustafson, it was his home. The deed to the home is in his name alone. Is that correct?
Sure.
There's some discrepancy as to who put down the down payment, who paid the bills. I don't know. I will find out. But at some point, the two of you weren't getting along. And at that point, it looks as if you filed for a protective order and had Mr. Gustafson excluded from the home.
Correct.
And that lasted almost a year.
Correct.
While it wound around the court system. When you got a protective order, I am correct that there was no hospitalization or anything because of injuries that you received as a result of fight with him or a result of an assault.
There was an assault, but no injuries, Your Honor.
There was no hospital records or any medical records of any injury that...
If you're not married and your name isn't on the deed, the house is not yours, no matter how you argue it.
Initially, I'm not talking about secondarily, you had two protective orders, or one with a violation. The initial one that you filed was in what month and year, Ms. Meadows?
That particular restraining order was in February of 2016, and we had been living in the home approximately 2 months.
And the home was in Mr. Gustafson's name, so it was his home because you were unmarried.
We bought it together, Your Honor.
Doesn't matter. The home is in his name. You're not married. The home is in what state?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, I assume, has the same laws as most places where you either have community property or equitable distribution if you're married and nothing if you're not, right? Nothing. It's his home. It's in his name. So in February of 2016, you'd been living in the home for 2 months. What kind of work were you doing?
At that time, I was a hairdresser, and I had my own business with my leather works.
Did you file tax returns in 2016?
Yes, I did.
How much did you claim that you earned in 2016?
I don't recall.
Give me a figure. 10, 20, 30,000?
$20,000.
$20,000. And what kind of work do you do?
I'm a union carpenter.
And how much did you claim that you earned in 2016?
I believe it was $72,000.
So clearly you were support of the household.
Yes.
How much of a down payment was put down on this house?
$1,000.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And what was the total purchase price of the house?
$206,000.
Whose name was on the mortgage?
His name was.
Alone.
Correct.
So he is totally responsible for the mortgage, a $205,000 mortgage. With a mortgage payment of how much, sir?
$1,800.
And the taxes, which you paid.
Yes.
In February of 2016, which is the date of your first restraining order after you moved into the house, I'd like to see a copy of what you alleged. Because ultimately, this is what the case is about. You want money owed for lost wages and fees due to a false restraining order. The fact that when he finally got back into his own home, you claim he returned property that was there while you were there for the year. Some of the property was vandalized. And punitive damages for an assault. That's what your claim is about. And he says he wants money for attorney's fees and vandalism. So that's why we're getting into all this minutiae. So I would like to see in February 2016 what allegations you made against the defendant in order to get him removed from his own house.
Your Honor, okay.
Don't answer me.
Okay.
I want to see the allegations that you made against Mr. Gustafson to get him removed from his own home.
That's not the restraining order. Pardon me, Your Honor. That's not the restraining order that got him removed from...
Did you catch that? She says there was an assault, but no hospital records, no medical evidence. In court, without proof, restraining orders can look very shaky.
I'm reading your complaint. In February 2016, he started drinking and getting violent. I filed a restraining order and he was removed from the house. That's what you wrote. Do you want me to show you?
That was then, Your Honor, okay? That was then. And then he came back and...
No. I want to know, is that the truth or a mistake or a lie that in February 2016 you filed a restraining order against him and got him removed from the house? That's my question.
Yes, ma'am, that is.
Then I want to see the allegations that you made in February of 2016 to get Mr. Gustafson removed from his own house. And I also would like to see any of the medical records or supporting documents that you had to get him removed from his own house. While she's looking for those, Mr. Gustafson, who paid the mortgage on the house for the 10 months that she was living there?
I did.
Who paid the taxes for the 10 months that she was living there?
I did.
I'm waiting. February 2016. I want to see the allegations. Now, do you see why I put your son out?
Yes.
Good. Let's have it.
I'm looking. That was, I don't have
listen
that
to me
one.
Carefully.
Yes, ma'am.
I take people who file charges of domestic violence very seriously, because domestic violence, whether it's perpetrated against a man or a woman, is an atrocious thing to have to live with. I don't like when somebody circumvents the process by filing a restraining order when there is no basis for it in order to get a leg up in what isn't even a matrimonial action, because the two of you aren't married. Now let's see if you don't have a copy of that. I'm not interested in the other restraining order. Pay careful attention. How long was he out of the house starting in February 2016, and you and your kid were living in the house, not paying the mortgage, not paying the taxes, and he was?
I did pay the mortgage and the taxes, and I have proof of those payments as well.
Sure. Just a second.
Okay. Yep.
I would like you to tell me how long he was out of the house.
10 months, Your Honor.
10 months. And
Now look at the numbers. She made $20,000 a year. He made $72,000. That's a huge gap. He was carrying the household, and Judge Judy knows it.
so what you're going to show me are the 10 months worth of mortgage payments and taxes. Go through.
I don't have 10 months worth. I have the first month, and he changed the passwords on everything so nobody can make the payments but himself.
Listen to me carefully. The answer is you didn't make payments on the mortgage or the taxes. You have an excuse, but you and your kid lived there rent-free, mortgage-free in his house based upon a restraining order that you don't have. And I know you either wouldn't have it or would be a whole lot of baloney. So then the two of you hired lawyers, and then everybody's spending money. Did you pay your lawyers? You. Did you pay your lawyer?
Yes, I did.
How much did you pay him?
$2,000.
What's the name of your lawyer? And how much have you paid that lawyer?
I paid him $7,000 and I still owe him $10,000.
So now, for no valid reason that I can think of, he's out of the house. His house. He's paying the mortgage. He's paying the taxes. You want to stay there? Send the check to him. You don't have to pay the mortgage. You know what the mortgage is. You know what the taxes are. So now, 10 months later, something happens. You want to tell me what happened? I mean, I read your complaint. I know I see this. I see what happened. You want to tell me what happened?
Sure.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yes.
10 months later.
10 months later, he starts calling and says, my lawyer quit, you won. I have it all in text
Right.
messages.
My lawyer quit. You outlasted him. You were able to pay a lawyer. You were able to keep this thing going in the courts. He had no more money to pay the lawyer. You weren't paying the mortgage. He was. Okay. So he said, you won. I got exactly what you did. Precisely what you did. So you said what?
Your Honor,
So you said what?
I said, well, let's make a deal then.
Good. Let's make a deal. I want you to tell me what deal you wanted to make with him for his
wanted-
own house.
I wanted to buy the house from him
For how much?
for the $206,000 plus any money that he put into it. It was arranged with our lawyers in the documents I have.
Okay. And you were prepared to pay him that and get another mortgage on your $20,000 a year income. And there are 1,000 banks after 2008 who are going to give you a mortgage on a $206,000 house on $20,000 worth of income. They're lining up.
Imagine this, being locked out of your own house for 10 months, while still paying a $1,300 mortgage every month. Be honest, would you keep fighting in court or just walk away?
Tony Meadows says ex-boyfriend Martin Gustafson assaulted her and removed her from their home. Martin is countersuing for attorney fees, vandalism, and bills.
Go ahead. This is where it doesn't make sense, and I can see why it doesn't, okay? There's 2 restraining orders here, and there's a year in the difference, and I was making more money at a different job at the time I
I
applied for
absolutely know that there are 2 restraining orders. So at some point, he came back to the house. You want to tell me your version? Now you know that I've been in your business, what you got involved in, 40 years. I know exactly what you did. I know exactly what you wanted, what you thought you were entitled to, and I know exactly what you did. Now, you want to tell me about the second time you filed a restraining order after February of 2016. You kept getting adjourned and adjourned and adjourned by the lawyers and adjourned, keeping him out of the house. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the date. Tell me what happened, and then
The date was 3/10/17.
Now, what had precipitated that? Had you been having discussions about the sale of the house?
We had tried to, and then he had me drop the restraining order, which I did.
Okay. Now, he had you drop the restraining order when?
It was February 16th, I believe, of 2017.
And tell me how it came about. I'm going to believe Miss Meadows, how he convinced you to drop the restraining order.
We had reconciled a bit. We decided to.
What does a bit mean? That we had reconciled?
We started sleeping together again.
When? Month and year? Month?
It was right after Christmas.
January.
Correct.
2017.
Correct.
And you were sleeping together in whose house?
Our house.
His house. I don't want to hear it. In his house. So he said, I'm not coming to the house if you have a restraining order against me. The first time you're using your brain. So, how long was he coming to the house in January 2017?
Like a couple of weeks.
And when did you drop the restraining order?
It was February 16th it got filed.
The application to withdraw the restraining order?
I gave that application to him as a show of good faith that we would do this. And he filed it. I don't know when he filed it, but I know that's the date it was signed.
Did you ever file her application to withdraw the restraining order?
Yes.
Okay, so it was filed. All right. So that's February 16th, you signed that. Now you're sleeping together.
Right.
Keep going.
Then he started getting mean and drinking and drunk and pushing and shoving and shutting the gas off and stealing things.
Just a second. So you're telling me he's living in the house?
Here's the breaking point. She talks about buying the house on a $20,000 income. Reality check. No bank is handing out a $200,000 mortgage on that salary. Judge Judy isn't buying it, and neither should we.
No, Your Honor, he was living in Monticello with his daughter.
And just coming over for
Correct.
an evening?
He had nothing at the house.
Just coming over for an evening and staying a couple of days, here and there.
Not even a couple of days. Yes, correct.
So now he's filed your case where you said, I don't need a restraining order anymore. And then what happened?
Like I said, he started getting what I call weird, okay?
That's what you said in February 2016.
He would come over. I called the police 3 separate times. I called 911. Okay, he was caught stealing, breaking into the house, the garage, his house, so he says, but the locks were changed. We lived there. He lived in Monticello.
Because you changed the locks doesn't make you any less of a squatter. You're a squatter when you live someplace that isn't yours, that you don't pay rent on. Makes you a squatter.
I have equitable rights, Your Honor.
No, you didn't. No court in this country will tell you had equitable rights in this. Equitable is when you're married. You're not.
So all the money that I put in is just out the window?
You didn't put in any money. You lived in the house for 2 months before you filed a restraining order. There was a total of $1,000 put down on the house, according to you, which is what you told me before, and he paid the mortgage for 10 months while you and your kid were living there. So how much money did you put into the house in the 2 months you were living there?
When I was living there, Your Honor, I made no more than $20,000 for one, okay?
That's not what you told me.
The first restraining order, you asked me how much I made.
That's
That's not the restraining order I was talking about.
Well, get back to what I'm talking about. February 2016, you had moved into the house 2 months before. In the 2 months that you lived there with him, how much money did you put into the house?
For the 2 months, you say?
2 months.
$1,900.
And there it is. Judge Judy exposed the truth. Sometimes emotions don't win. The real power comes down to one thing: the law. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments.